this is Tuition Gob. Here I am presenting the home equity loan analysis for Chase Manhattan Bank. The content is divided into 5 parts: context, frame questions, vision, argument, and conclusion. First, let's see the context. As you know, we are the agency working for Chase Manhattan Bank. And who specifically are we working for? The manager of loan department and the operating committee members, including Jamie Dimon, the CEO, Marianne Lake, the CFO, and Christine Lemko, the CMO. Why Chase Manhattan Bank want us to do this? Because they recently experienced some defaults of their home equity loan. They want to develop the model to determine whether or not they should approve a home equity loan. As a result, we use their customer data to analyze the reasons of default in order to avoid approving risky home equity loan. Also, the company will be able to build and maintain good relationship with their loyal customers and maximize their profit. So here's our vision. The sample of size of the data is 5,960, which means we have adequate amount of customers to research. And their features are divided into 16 different parts, so we can conclude the common features of those default customers by linear regression. We also use multivariate analysis to acquire the relationship between these factors. And we use data filter and ANOVA to test which variables would affect the loyalty of customers. So here comes our frame questions. What are the common characteristics of our default customers? And what are the reasons causing them to quit from our bank? What are the variables in our database when we compare them will make significant influence to increase the default rate? And what are the relations between those variables? After we conclude the predict model, the third frame question is: how should we use the predict model to check who will be more likely to default in order to reduce our losses? So here are our arguments. The first, because there are 16 variables and from the samples, the default is chosen as dependent variable and other factors chosen as independent variables. And after data processing, we found that the significant variables are loan, job of office, job of sales, derogatories, delinquencies, credit line age, inquiries, credit line NO, and debt INC. These factors all have comparatively high influences on default. A customer owns one more of these features, he or she is more likely to default. And how we conclude this argument? Here is the process. First, the parameter estimates as shown in the picture. The result is acquired by the fit model function in jump. We selecting default as y and other variables as x. As you can see, those probability less than 0.05 are significant variables. But notice that the intercept probability is also less than 0.05, so which means there may exist some other significant factors. Our second argument, we first use multivariate analysis to see the correlations between those significant variables. And we found out the correlation between each of variables are very low, which means that these variables are not dependent to each other. So a default may appear as long as a customer owns one of these significant features. And our second step is using fit model to test which variables are most effective ones to cause default. Here are our process. First, we use multivariate correlations in jump, and we found the correlations between these significant factors. As you can see in the picture, the numbers are very low, so it means the significant factors are not related to each other. And the second graph is the fit model of the significant factors. And you can see the effective summary. The first 6 factors have the lowest p-value, which means they are the most significant factors. And our third step is using regression formula to check whether relationships between default and variables are positive or negative. And after saving formula column, the significant variables are separated. Those positively related to default are job office, credit line age, and credit line NO. And those negatively related to default are job of sales, derogatories, delinquencies, inquiries, and debt INC. And how we conclude that? As you can see, the first graph is a formula of line 0 acquired by the linear regression, saving the formula, and those are negatively related has the minus symbol on the formula, and those are positively related has plus symbol. And the graph 2 is a formula of probability 1, which equals to default. As you can see, it's positively related to line 0. So the symbol remains same, which means factors are negatively related to line, also negatively related to default, and those positively related to line are also positively related to default. And here comes our third argument. In order to increase the accuracy of the predictive model, we deduct the amount of variables to 6. Of course, the 6 most significant ones. We use a data filter function to do that. And the second step is that the predictive formula of default is saved by using fixed linear regression. And we created a new column called error to testify the accuracy of our predictive model. As you can see, the effect summary of our fixed linear regression, those 6 most significant variables, their p-value remains the same, very low, so they are still the most significant ones. And the second is the formula of error. It is the absolute value of most likely default minus default. By using this, we can see the third graph is the accuracy of our predictive model. Because the number one of errors, the real one of errors, the percentage is 7.65, which means our predictive model is 92.35% accurate. It is comparatively high, but there are still space to improve. Here come our conclusion. The common variables of the customer who are most likely to default a loan are delinquencies, means number of delinquent credit lines, debt INC, debt to income ratio, derogatories, means number of major derogatory reports, credit line age, means age of oldest credit line in months, job of sales and job of office, and inquiries, means number of recent credit inquiries. But there exist some other significant factors has influences on home equity loan default, as I mentioned, that their interceptor has also have very low p-value. So Chase Manhattan Bank should add more factors into their investigation in order to raise the accuracy of the predict model. As I mentioned before, the predict model's accuracy rate is 92.35%. It is high, but there is still space to improve. This is our report. Thank you.